Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. In this fifth class on व-अवभ, where we are taking selected mantras, crisscrossing the 6 chapters of this relatively voluminous Upanishad, we are going to take the very Shanti mantra with which we have been starting every class. This Shanti mantra, Purnamadaha, Purnamidam, and so on, is very well known and mostly well appreciated, well chanted, but at some places you can't help it. It is chanted wrongly also, and some improper meanings are also taken by people. We want to therefore dwell on this mantra and, going by the glorious Advaita Vedanta tradition, share with you the meaning of this Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Simple mantra. So first of all, where does this appear? In the 5th chapter, that is the penultimate chapter of व-अवभ, which has 6 chapters. This Purnamadaha Purnamidam appears as the peace invocation for the chapter itself. And then there is just a short mantra which constitutes the first Brahmana of this 5th chapter. This Panchamadhyaya has 15 Brahmanas, and some of you surely remember we took in the very second class the story of Prajapati giving a single syllable instruction to Devas, Asuras, and Manavas by saying the. That appears in the second Brahmana. The second Brahmana has a few mantras, but the first Brahmana has, just to let you know what that single mantra constitutes the first Brahmana, it just Om Kham Brahma Kham Puranam Vayuram Kham Itiha Sma Aha Kauravyayani Putraha Vedoyam Brahmanaha Viduhu Vedena Viduhu Veda Ane Vedainena Yad Veditavyam. So there is a single short mantra which praises Om, which praises the 5 elements, which praises the Vedas, and Adi Shankara, while introducing this 5th chapter, says that talking about Omkara, talking about how that Om itself appears as space, appears as Vayu, air, and so on, this 5th chapter is going to present several upasanas. What are upasanas? Time and again, the Vedanta adopts this approach. For Uttama Adhikaris, very fit students, liberating insights are given. They are to dwell on those teachings and let go of whatever traces of ego in them had remained so far. But such Uttama Adhikaris are a rare few. for Madhyama Adhikaris, who are almost there but not quite, some upasanas have to be given on Om, on various kinds of divine visualization. And Adi Shankara thus says, while that indescribable Brahman, that which is neither in front of you nor far away, but is your own true nature. Yat sakshad aparokshat. Paroksha means far away somewhere. Pratyaksha means in front of you. But neither paroksha nor pratyaksha, but aparoksha. It is you yourself. That truth of your own existence, which defies any description, was talked about in the previous 4 chapters at several places, and that is Nirguna Nirakara Satya. But a lot of students, though they have heard a lot of Vedanta, at the end of it all, again are stuck with this universe, its forms, its names, its glories, its plus points, its deficiencies, and so on. So for the sake of the Madhyama Adhikaris, Adi Shankara says, the Nirupadika Brahma is presented as Sopadika Brahma. The key word here is Upadi. Upadi means a limiting adjunct. The pure absolute reality has no upadis whatsoever. But one notch below, in what we call the frame of reference of avidya, there is a frame of reference which is not true, but we are seeing ourselves in that frame of reference. The purpose of the Upanishads is to awaken us from this frame of reference. I call it avidya bhumi. In avidya bhumi, please do not think the universe that you behold is alone called mithya by Advaita Vedanta. The frame of reference includes the pair of what is seen and the seer, what is heard and the hearer, the perceived and the perceiver. This pair, this couple, this duality deserves to be questioned. When it is questioned, together the universe that is perceived and the I in you and me that perceives subside. The drishya and the druk, which are looked at as separate, together subside, and then there is the intuitive grasp of that Nirupadika Brahma, where there is no universe at all. This is easier said than truly understood by students. Therefore, Sa Upadika, Brahma as having qualities, having attributes, Brahma having this universe as an appearance upon it. In reality, there is nothing appearing upon Brahman. Just as in a kaleidoscope, you see multiple colors, multiple objects, multiple reflections, and you enjoy it. But when you put away the kaleidoscope and throw out a couple of little pieces, maybe bangle pieces, they are just 1 or 2 little pieces, but they looked as though they were 20 kaleidoscope. Therefore, in the awakening, this universe is discovered to be just the Nirupadika Brahma. All right, Om Kham and Brahma Kham, Puranam, Vayuram Kham. Kham means Akasha. Brahman alone appears as this whole universe, starting with space and then air and so on. That is the mantra proper. And that mantra alone constitutes the first Brahmana of this Panchama Adhyaya. And the second Brahmana takes up the story of Prajapati, saying the to Manavas, Asuras, and Devas. So in the first Brahmana, where there is only one mantra, in this session we are interested in the Shanti mantra that precedes the first mantra. Sometimes it is written together with the first mantra, but the first mantra proper begins with Om, Kham, and so on. This Purnamadaha Purnamidam otherwise is recited only at the beginning of the entire บṛhadāraṇyaka-upaniṣad. It's not recited before every chapter, but in this chapter it appears specially. And what is specially of value to us is Adi Shankaracharya takes the pains to explain this Purnamadaha Purnamidam at this place. Not at the beginning of the entire Upanishad, but at the beginning of Khilakanda, in which the 5th chapter is the forerunner. In the beginning of the 5th chapter, Panchama Adhyaya of บṛhadāraṇyaka-upaniṣad of Shukla Yajurveda, Adi Shankara writes a short bhashya, portions of which we shall now take up at this point. Therefore, let's open a slide which is the mantra Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. Let's see a slide. បṛhadāraṇyaka-upaniṣad. Peace invocation before 5.1.1. 5 is chapter number. 1 is Brahmana number, that is section number. And 1 is the mantra number. This slide shows what all of you know very well. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. This is the first half of the famous mantra. And the second slide gives its direct meaning. Let's see the second one. In blue letters, we have given the literal meaning of the first half of the mantra. Purnam Adaha. Adaha means that. That is full. Purnam Idam. Idam means this. This is full. All pronouns are used. What is that and what is this? Unless you are taught in a traditional way by a competent teacher, is difficult to figure out. What is that and what is this? That is full, this is full. From fullness, fullness proceeds. Purnat, Purnam, Udachyate, rises, comes out, and so on. Now in black letters, we have a couple of notes taken from Dr. S. Radhakrishnan's principal Upanishads. After this, we will take up the details as supplied by Adi Shankara. That is full. Radhakrishnan himself provides, in line with Shankara Bhashya, the reference is to the absolute. That which has no associated factors. It is called nirupadika, no upadi. If a crystal is placed upon red tablecloth, the crystal appears red. The crystal does not have any color of its own. So the tablecloth is the upadi. What, by being near, lends its quality or attribute to an object is upadi. Upa means near. Dha, the dhati, becomes dhi, is to keep. The red tablecloth, which is kept surrounding the little crystal at the center of it all, makes this crystal look red. So, in the avidya bhumi, there is Upadi, then Chaitanya, then Upahita Chaitanya, etc. All these distinctions, all this manifoldness, please note, is in the avidya bhumi. At no point the Vedanta would say or admit that, well, there is Brahman and then this Upadi came dancing or came walking. Any mention of Upadi coming in addition to Brahma being would be Advaita Hani. Therefore, the highest understanding is there is no second object at all. So we again and again say, for the convenience of understanding of the student who is caught in this avidya bhumi, this whole avidya bhumi, lock, stock and barrel, has to be undone, has to be dismantled. In understanding, there is nothing real to be dismantled. When you wake up from a dream where a tiger was chasing you, though you say to your spouse or somebody, my God, I thought that tiger would eat me up. I just saved myself. Was there any real tiger at all? Within the dream, there was a man who was running for life and there was a tiger that was chasing him. When one wakes up, the tiger also disappears, no doubt, but the man who was running also vanishes. This man who is sitting up on the bed and saying, what a relief. He did not run at all in that forest. So please note, that's important. So from that Nirupadika Brahma, absolute, this is full. The reference to idam, this, is to the manifested universe. This manifested universe, I hasten to add, including the separate perceiver on our part, the separate experiencer. What do I mean by separate? Well, if I eat a bitter fruit, I make a face. So there is a fruit and there is somebody who is different from the fruit. I'm not the fruit. I ate a fruit and I said, it's so bitter. I make a face. So the experiencer and what is experienced are separate in this avidya bhumi. So the entire universe. One night you may go to the terrace of your building and look at some distant stars, maybe with some very good telescopes you have recently bought. That distant star, which is many light years away, and you here on top of the terrace of your house, both are included. In fact, the entire universe that is perceived and the so-called perceiver are included in this manifested universe. And the Vedanta talks about an Ishvara. Once there is this manifested universe, there is an operating software and an intelligence behind that software. That is Ishvara. Ishvara is the Karma Adhyaksha. And one last note here, while this world is in a sense infinite, it's not really infinite. The really infinite, would not go at all. Whereas this world of plurality vanishes. But in our eyes, who can know the end of space? Who can know the end of time? Who can know end of anything for that matter? Because everything, A leads to B, B leads to C, C leads to D. A cause leads to effect, that effect leads to another effect. Every cause has another cause behind it. Every effect has another effect after it. So as Sri Krishna says in the 15th chapter, Nanton namadhyam drishyate. You can't see in the 15th chapter, let me read that. The very famous line, all of us have chanted 100 times or more than that. You have, Samsara Vriksha, where Sri Krishna says, Chandamsi yasya veda. Nanto nacha adihi nacha sampratishta. Third shloka of chapter 15. Nanto na antaha na adihi. And we don't know where it is anchored. Na sampratishta. That is, the manifest universe also is very baffling. But the last note in this slide lets us know, while this world, yes, in a sense, is so baffling and everybody wonders what this is all about, it has its roots in the absolute. The absolute nirupadika, nirvikara, nirakara, Brahma is the source for all this. In that samsara vriksha also, Sri Krishna is actually drawing our attention to the source. Urdhva moolam adashakam ashvattam prahuravyayam. That is how chapter 15 of Gita begins. Now let's see what Adi Shankara says about this first half of the mantra. And we have here Shankara picking up the words from the original mantra, and we have made them blue, so that even as you take a look at this Devanagari, I hope most of you know Devanagari, otherwise you will have to keep a print in your own Kannada or Telugu, Tamil or some other Oriya, Bengali script. This is Devanagari, which Hindi people use, Marathi people use. The font, the lipi is called Devanagari. Purnamadaha is how the mantra begins. So the very first word is Purnam. And Adi Shankara says Purnam means that which is not limited or which is not distinct from anything. You have a pot and there is another pot. Philosophically we say, once there is a second pot, the first pot is not everything there is. There's a second pot. It doesn't have to be a pot. Here is a pot and over there is a flower. The flower limits the pot and pot limits the flower, because where the flower is, there is no pot. Where the pot is, there is no flower. So, Ananta is the meaning of Purnam. Na kutaschit vyavrittam. It can't be said that this is distinct. On the contrary, as Acharya Shankara himself gives another word, Vyapi. Vyapi means all pervasive. Somewhere else, the word Purna can mean filled. You take a pot and you fill the pot with water. Then we say Patram Purnam. The pot, the vessel is full. It is filled by what? Jalena. Then you know what? Grammatically, the word Patram, the vessel, becomes the object which you fill with water. I can come and ask you, hey, what are you filling? You say, I am filling a pot. Like I see you eating something, hey, what are you eating? You smile and say, I'm eating a banana. Banana is karmapada, object. The pot is karmapada. It is filled with water. So I'm saying this because there is a grammatical comment next sentence. Nishtacha kartari drashtavya. Here the word Purna is not in the sense of it is filled with something. It is the object for the action of filling. It's not karma. It is kartru, kartari. Subject, it is full. It is not filled. That is so in some other context. A pot or a hall is filled with people. Idam bhavanam janaihi purnam drishyate. This hall is seen to be filled with people. House full. There it is. The Purna Shabda becomes the karma. But here it is kartari. Because this Brahma is not filled with anything. It alone is. In fact, it alone fills everything. It alone pervades everything. Nishtha here means, it's the name of a pratyaya. Pr dhatu with pratyaya added becomes purnam. So nishtha pratyayaha atra kartari drashtavya. Nishtha is feminine, therefore drashtavya. So purna is, the simple in meaning is, purna doesn't mean, purna madaha, that is filled. No, it's not filled. It is full. It is infinite. It is limitless. It is all pervasive. So purnam adaha. Adaha iti paroksha abhidhai sarva. Adaha in English is that. If something is very near in my hand, I don't call it that. It is pratyaksha. But something far away. You come to see me and I show a tree. You know that tree, it is 3 years old. Our family planted it 3 years back and it has grown already quite tall. That tree, paroksha, it's a bit far. So, adaha iti paroksha abhidhai sarvanama, and in this context, it refers to tat param brahma ityartha. So that param brahma, which in the avidya bhumi is taken as our goal, and we little guys are traveling, we are the sadhakas, we are here and we got to go there, this here and there, starting point and destination, and now and later, they are all parts of the avidya bhumi. Avidya bhumi, frame of reference of erroneous perception, needs to be lifted, dismantled, undone, lock, stock and barrel. The truth is that Param Brahma only is here. That's what is said. Tat Sampurnam, that Supreme Brahma, we are using the language of Avidya Bhumi, that over there, as though it is far. It is really not far. But that's the language. Tat Sampurnam Akashavad Vyapi, like space. In fact, it's subtler than space. Space rises and subsides in Brahma. It's all pervasive, nirantaram, having no gap, nirupadikancha, having no associated factors. Because when there is only one, you can't even think of an upadi. But within the error domain, there are two. So one is upadi, another is upahita. The crystal is upahita, the cloth is the upadi. Tadeva, that Brahma up there, in a manner of saying, Tadeva, that itself, idam. What is idam? This sa upadikam. With names and forms, with color and sound, with touch and taste, with time and space appearing in it, which has things far and things near, which has things sweet and things that are sour, which have things that are hard, things that are soft. They're all upadi krita or upadi jata lakshanas. Nama rupastam. This universe is found to be having names and forms, or it is in names and forms. Vyavahārāpannam. This is great fun when it goes well. Otherwise, it's such misery. Vyavahara is possible. Give and take and receive, spend, earn, save, and so on. Vyavahara apannam. But now the mantra makes a statement. Idam api purnam. Purnamadaha is fine, but idam vishwam. Iyam srishtihi api purnam or purna. Svena rupena paramatmana vyapi eva. Because from the eyes of the rishis, this entire universe, though it may have its own limitations, one of them is it vanishes. This Jagrat Prapancha vanishes when we go to sleep. The sleep world, the dream world, has nothing to do with the waking world. It has its own space, its own time, its own causation. And for heaven's sake, do not imagine a single axis upon which point T1 to T2, time point. The time point T1 to time point T2, there was Jagrat. Point T2 to T3, there was a dream. And then, I slept without any dream, point T3 to T4. This is your Jagrat Ahankara conceiving a time axis which is all the time present. No, this is a little mystery. We will take it up at various times or on various occasions. But to again and again put the seeds in you, think of it this way. Not only the waking world vanishes, its time, its space, its causation, its nama, its rupa, all of them vanish. Therefore, this so-called vast universe, which in a sense is called infinite, is really infinite. You know how? It being no different from the absolute Brahman. This manifest universe is no different from the absolute Brahman. How? Though Shankara does not bring the rope and snake here, he brings them somewhere else, we bring it. You see a snake, and if you were to, with a stick, touch the tail of the snake, the face of the snake, the mouth of the snake, the middle of the snake, anywhere you touch the apparent snake, aren't you actually touching the rope? So this universe, which is perceived erroneously by us, actually is Brahma. Kana kana me, gata gata me, pata pata me, as the expressions go. So Adi Shankara says, Svena rupana paramatmana vyapi eva, na upadi parichinnena visheshatmana. The way it is appearing, in fact, today modern science also talks about the universe shrinking, universe expanding, the universe probably having its own beginning, its own death, and so on. Once something has a beginning and a death, expansion and contraction, it is not infinite. The infinite, is without any border. To shrink or to expand, some kind of border is conceived. It may not be the regular sense of border as we imagine space. For that you have to read advanced physics. What do they mean by the shrinking universe and the expanding universe? So, na visheshatmana, kintu paramatmana. The snake is actually the rope itself. Or when a movie is going on, if your grandchild suddenly jumps out of his seat and before you can hold him, he runs down the steps and goes to the screen and he wants to touch the elephant that he got very fond of. A baby elephant was in the movie. He went and touched it. What would he touch? He touches the white screen only. Whether he touches the elephant or a little girl standing in front of the elephant, wherever he touches, it is the white screen only in the movie. Likewise, this universe really is Brahma. Therefore, this is also, Brahma is infinite, so this is infinite. Karyatmakam Brahma. Shankara uses two words, Karana and Karya. The Parabrahma is the Karana, the cause. And this visible universe, and we ourselves, we look at ourselves, our hands, our feet. So, what was that? This morning something came to me where it was said, a father told a son, I'll take you this Sunday to a place, and that place is full of people without any nose. And please don't laugh when you go there. The son said, okay, I'll control myself. And when he went there, the father and son, there were indeed some island somewhere, and none of them has a nose. It's all flat there. And the son was holding back his urge to laugh. They looked very funny. But what was more funny or what was embarrassing was, even as the father and son got down from the boat, all those people looked at these two and started laughing. Look at these people. They have something protruding on their face. So for them, these two fellows were so funny with something protruding. For them, people with nose were so funny. Whereas for these two, all those people with no nose at all were funny. So, Karana and Karya. Karana, Parabrahma. Karya is this entire universe. Tadidam Visheshapannam Karyatmakam Brahma Purnat Karanatmanaha. From the Parabrahma. Here Karanatma means Atma is nature, whose nature is cause. When you talk of things in Avidya Bhumi, there is a cause, there is an effect. In Vidya Bhumi, Brahma is not the cause of anything, and Brahma is not caused by anything. Brahma is neither Karanam nor Karyam. The mantra says Udachyate. Shankara gives a synonym, Udrichyate. Udrichyate, one more synonym, Udgacchati, Udgama, rising, arising. Lastly, talking about this first half of the mantra, Yadyapi Karyatma Udrichyate, Tathapi Yat Swarupam Purnatvam Paramatma Bhavam Tad Na Jahati. At no moment, never or at no place does this universe let go of its nature as that Parabrahma. This is what we called in Advaita Vedanta Vivartavada. At no point, even 1% of the rope becomes snake. In the example of milk, where you put a little curd, yogurt at night, morning the whole pot of milk has turned into curd, that is called parinama. That's an example for scenarios where actually things change. Adi Shankara's position with respect to the supreme truth and this universe is Vivartavada. Vada means a school of thought. Vivarta means Viparitam Vartate. Here in this context, Drishyate. The universe seems to have risen. That's what Adi Shankara says here, Na Jahati. Parabrahma, even as it has appeared as this entire universe, Na Jahati, Na Tyajati, doesn't let go of, doesn't give up even an iota of its Satchidananda Swarupa. Purnam eva udrichyate. Purnam udrichyate. So this apparently infinite universe has come out. In its true nature, it is of course infinite, not in these names and forms. So basically, this Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate is a grand Vedic statement pointing to Vivartavada, where Brahma really does not undergo any change, but appears to have changed. What appears to have changed, and the one who is wondering or who is thinking, hey, things have changed, things are changing, everything is changing. The one who is into that kind of conclusion is part of the domain. A lot of people who criticize Advaita Vedanta miss out that point. They think that we are calling these hills and rivers, etc., as illusion in a divided manner, compartmentalized manner. They are all illusion, and we are real. No, we say, wait a minute. This domain, it is a subject and object are included in one domain, and that one domain has a certain truth to be discovered. This is what they call one-shot brilliancy. At one go, at one leap, at one instant. When they asked Maharshi Ramana and other great people, how long does it take to realize? First they said, not much time. If you are intense, in a short time you can realize truth. Then they corrected their statement. Wait a minute. To do justice to the topic, to say it takes short time or long time, etc., is all wrong. Because this awakening is not something that happens on the axis of time. All other phenomena happen on the axis of time. Jagdish Chandra Bose, the botanist of India, I believe through some special apparatus, had observed how flowers blossom, how leaves grow, how plants grow. It's very slow movement. At point T1, the flower was a bud. Point T2, slightly opened. Now fantastic equipment and observing machinery must have come. But during J.C. Bose, and there were a couple of others in Indian scientists, they had found out very slow. And they had also proposed that plants do have life and so on. Anyway, T1, T2, T3. A child is born and how the child grows. You take pictures. My grandchild, when he was 1 month old, my grandchild, see this picture when he was 6 months old, my grandchild. And today my grandchild is studying at such and such university, 22-year-old boy with a mustache. So that is phenomenon. But Brahma doesn't undergo any phenomena, number one, and self-realization. Question yourself when your mind thinks, when do I get enlightened? That's a wrong question, because when is in the phenomenal world. Where will I get enlightened? If I go to Kedarnath and stand before Shiva over there, will something happen and will I get enlightened? At Kedarnath, space. And third is causation. What will cause enlightenment in me? Maybe I go to an exceptional master and he puts his hand on my head, though all hair have fallen off. Maybe that will speed up the process. So, a master of exceptional power places his hand upon my bald head. That causes enlightenment. If you think, sorry, this cause and effect are within the phenomenal world, and enlightenment is not a phenomena in this universe. It is ending of all phenomena, ending of time, ending of space, ending of time, space, and causation. Therefore, Vivartavada is a lot of food for thought, and to do justice to it, more than I understood, more than that you have to say, I dropped my previous notions. I had many notions about Advaita Vedant's position about creation. All those notions I dropped. That is called neti. No, not that. Now we take up the second part of the mantra. So, Purnameva Udrichyate. Fourth slide. Everyone knows this. Second half. Purnasya Purnamadaya. From that Supreme Brahman, this infinite universe, this is also Purnam. It has come out, it has been taken out as though Adaya. Swami Dayananda Saraswati, who gave a commentary, conducted maybe a couple of classes, it came out as a booklet on this Purnamada Purnamidam, says grammar supports another meaning, not only taking the full from the full, but putting the full into the full. Either you take or you put, because Shashti Vibhakti Purnasya does provide for that meaning too. To that Parabrahma, if this manifest universe goes and merges, or from that Parabrahma, the manifest universe emerges. So whether this Purna emerges or merges, A and B. B comes from A, that's the popular meaning, and B merges back into A. That also is supported, he says, which is fine, but we will take the well-known meaning. When from that Parabrahma, the absolute reality, this baffling, apparently infinite universe has appeared, has come out, has risen, nothing happens to Parabrahma. Parabrahma doesn't get diminished, doesn't get cut, doesn't get truncated in any manner. Purnam eva avashishyate. The full alone remains. So in lighter moments, people say, this is wonderful. This Purnamadaha Purnamidam is like the definition of infinity in mathematics. So you have the symbol for infinity, the figure of 8 turned 90 degrees and made to as though lie flat on the ground. This infinity is also talked about like that. From infinity, take out infinity. That is infinity minus infinity is again infinity. Or to infinity, add infinity. Again it is infinity. Therefore, how wonderful a Veda mantra talks about characteristics of infinity. All right, let's see the English meanings. First, taking a quick help from Sir. No, I'm again saying Sir. I don't know whether he was Sir. Dr. S. Radhakrishnan. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan. If we take away the fullness of meaning from fullness, if we have taken away fullness, perhaps nothing remains there. No, fullness alone remains. It says, another note, you have another note. The manifestation of this universe does not take away from the fullness, and Radhakrishnan adds another expression, or integrity of the absolute. Integrity also is to remain whole, remain one, remain together. If a fraction, if a piece, if a little part is knocked off, chipped off, then whatever it is reduces to some extent. Then it has lost its integrity. The manifestation of this universe does not take away from the fullness or integrity of the absolute. Here we have a few more comments by Shankara. However, the main point has been conveyed. Let's see the next slide, 6. So in 6 we have practically last slide, though Shanti, Shanti, Shanti constitutes the last slide. Purnasya, second half of the mantra, Karyatmanaha Brahmanaha Purnam Adaya Grahitva, taking. So we go back to 6. So Atma Swarupa Ekarasatvam Apadya Vidyaya. So here is this infinite. what we are perceiving. You know what Vedanta, Shravana, Manana do to us? As we are contemplating in this very universe, in this Karyatma Brahma, the effect, we begin to see, hey, this is pure Brahma. I see Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Because of my likes and dislikes, because of my identification with the body, earlier it all looked so confusing, tempting at times, and repelling at other times, etc., etc. But now, I see in this manifest universe, Asmin Karyatmani Brahmani Jagati, Kim Pashyami, what do I see now? Atmaswarupa eka-rasatvam. I see myself in everything. I see everything in myself. When our ego gets attenuated, when our fear, anger, desire, when our slavery to memories, they reduce, the way we see the universe undergoes a change. So Adi Shankara puts it beautifully, promoting sadhana on our part. Atmaswarupa eka-rasatvam apadya. How do we do it? Vidyaya. It is through Vidya. So do Shravana, do Manana. Then there you get Vidya. In Vidya, in wisdom, in right seeing, because Vidya essentially Samyak Darshana. You will see Ekarasam Brahma. Then what happens? Avidya kritam bhutamatra upadi samsargajam anyatya avabhasam tiraskritya. All along there was anyatra avabhas, anyatva. This anyatva avabhasam tiraskritya deserves to be underlined. Negating, dismissing, there is no other. Otherwise, friends, don't we all know, in secular matters and in spiritual matters also, that is a contradiction, but it happens. In spiritual matters also we feel jealous of somebody. He and I started Vedanta together, but he has gone so much ahead. Look at the number of books he has written. And look at this number of disciples that come to him. Whereas I am not wanted anybody, blah, blah. Oh my God, this I and that he is all an illusion. You straighten your Vedanta, then all this depression, this jealousy. Somebody says, I'm not jealous, but I feel sad. I made some mistakes. So he went ahead and I'm behind. I met somebody other day someplace. He was my classmate in 1984 when I joined Sandipani Sadhanalaya in Mumbai. And he said to me, you have gone way ahead. You have become a great Vedanta teacher. I, got married and have a good wife and nice 2 children, but I lost track. I said, my dear friend, if you really go to the essence of Vedanta, it is false to either say this man has gone ahead or say that man has got caught in samsara, because both are a way of seeing. The truth is, neither you nor I have either advanced or have lagged behind. See, materially, of course, he and I were classmates. I used to teach him physics and maths. Now he's a millionaire and I have a difficulty in paying my monthly rent of my house. So people compare. So that's the secular world very well known. In spiritual world, one should not compare actually. But old habits, But Shravana and Manana, look at this. Why I asked you to underline this Anyatva Avabhasam Tiraskritya is, first of all, there is no he other than me. And there is no me other than he. He, she, me, they. This is all part of the avidya bhumi. Please read Saddarshanam, the shloka. Tadyushmadorasmadi sampratishta tasmin vinashte asmadi moola bodhat tadyushmadasman mati varjitaika stitihi jvalanti. There is a state of being where there is the light of wisdom. Maybe you have not written a single book, maybe you have no disciple, maybe people look at you as some wretched worldly person. Let them think whatever they think. If you do proper shravana, you do inquiry, you get the right teaching, with ill health, with poverty, with no popularity in the town. On the contrary, you are looked at as a sinner and a vagabond and some kind of, all kinds of pictures people have about you. But in right seeing, Stitir Jwalanti Sahaja Atmanaha Syat. There is a shloka. Maharshi Ramana says this tad means he, she, it, they, those. Yushmad, you, singular or plural. All of them depend on Asmad. And in Maharshi's special way, this Asmad has to be inquired into. And then that Asmad, me, I, either the sense of I am ahead or the sense of I am behind. Oh, illusion. The real I is neither ahead nor below. So, Anyatva avabhasa, that illusion of me being other than him or her being other than me, tiraskritya, and you will negate it in proper shravanam. Purnameva anantaram abahyam pṛhadāraṇyaka-upaniṣad svabhavam kevalam brahma avashishyate. When inquiring into this universe, inquiring into our own predicament, inquiring into notions of I am good, I am bad, I am low, I am high, and 100 other ideas, they are all notions. They are all a play of the mind. They are all, what is that? Swami Chinmayananji used to say, drawing from v-Chudamani, mind alone is Maya at play. There is no Maya other than the mind. Nahyasti avidya or Maya, manasaha atirikta. There is a statement in v-Chudamani. Where is Maya? This play of thoughts is Maya. So when we inquire, when we tiraskritya, when we negate false notions, and we begin to see ekarasa, that homogeneous truth pervading the universe, then Brahma alone remains. Purnasya Purnam Adaya. So Adi Shankara has given this meaning, not the gross idea of A has come out from B or B has gone into A, etc. That is okay. But here he says, in this universe, by right seeing, can you extract, can you see the changeless Brahma in this very setup where there seems to be a lot of change? Rest of it is Adi Shankara supports all this interpretation with some quotations from this Upanishad itself. Yaduktam brahmava idamagra asit tad atmanameva avet tasma tat sarvam abhavat. Brahma alone, that's the statement, was here, was this, was all this, and tad atmanameva avet. It protects itself. It knows itself. It becomes everything. There is a statement in the very first chapter. We will try to take that also in one of the sessions. Adi Shankara attaches much importance to this. First Adhyaya, fourth Brahmana, 10th mantra. Yesha asya mantrasya artaha. He gives the meaning of that mantra from the first chapter. Tatra Brahma iti asya artaha purnamadaha iti. He connects this purnamadaha to that 10th mantra of the fourth Brahmana of the first chapter. So over there, Brahma Shabda refers to Purnamadaha of this mantra, idam purnam iti brahmaya idam agra asit. There also the word idam was used. He remarks ityasya artha. One more shruti he takes again of an Upanishad, that is therefore we call it Shruti Kathopanishad. Yadeva iha tadamutra, yadamutra tadeva tadanu iha. Simply put, what you find here is also there, what you find there is also here. And if you go to the commentary on that portion in Kathopanishad, you find there also Adi Shankara consistently says, one is Sopadika, other is Nirupadika. Though this line has a lot of suggestions. I once advised somebody who was feeling miserable that he wanted to settle abroad but could not work it out. Oh, my classmates have all settled in Europe or America or Singapore or Muscat, Dubai. But I have stayed back. I am a failure. I am here in Aurangabad. Something he said. So I quoted this mantra. Yadeva iha tadamutra, yadamutra tadanviha. So these are all liberal interpretations. You know, what you have abroad, you have here itself. And what you have here is over there also. Somebody wrote a book too. It was a bestseller many years ago. Wherever you go, there you are. That is the title of the book. Look up Google. Wherever you go, there you are. Go to Singapore, go to Chicago, go to Abu Dhabi, or go to Lancaster in UK. Wherever you go, there you are. Your life is going to be the same unless you change inside. But coming to the more serious philosophical meaning, Adi Shankara says, this whatever is here is over there also refers to the Nirakara Nirguna Brahma and the Sakara Sopadika, the created universe. They are ever one. It is ignorance which makes you see them differently, separately. Lastly, Ataha Ada Shabdavachyam Purnam Brahma Tadeva Idam Purnam Karyastam. Adaha is that, Idam is as the effect. Namarupa Upadi Sanyuktam Avidyaya Udriktam. How did this all come? In erroneous perception. Nothing actually has come. It's in your error. And the one who has error is part of that error. Kasya vidya. Yasya prashnaha, yasya samshayaha, tasya eva vidya. Who hosts or who has this ignorance? Chapter 13, Shankara Bhashya, second shloka of Gita. You will find this very, very important clarification. Who has avidya? Don't think that you are here and avidya came and hit you. You as a separate entity is at the same level, in the same category of avidya. You don't have the separate self, the little I, the ego, doesn't have an independent existence of avidya. You can't imagine an individual without avidya. Individual comes into being when there is avidya. Avidya and individuality rise together. Avidya and individuality fall together. When we say rise and fall, we are not giving any reality to time. This is a limitation of language. Avidya and individuality rise together. Oh, you mean how long do they take to rise? And how do they subside? Can I write a graph of it? Rama Rama, don't make it a process on the axis of time. The x-axis is time, y-axis is the intensity of the ego, individuality. Slowly, mild ego, then it became peak. Strong ego, I think it's a bell curve, right? We study in various subjects. Don't do that. Because of limitation of language, we have to say the ego rises and then subsides. Because all languages are made for temporal, phenomenal matters. This philosophy defies phenomena. Okay. Tasmadeva paramartha swarupam anyadiva pratyavabhasamanam. It seems to be other, but it's not other. Yat atmanameva param purnam brahma viditva. So it's all about you and me studying Vedanta, inquiring, questioning our present perception, and then realizing, I have no limitations. For peace of mind, I don't have to write a book or build an ashram or, make some money or travel and give lectures in some hallowed, halls. I am, without doing something or after doing that. These are, in Hindi you have a word, faltu. They are unnecessary. But you and I get caught. Oh my God. After all this Vedanta, where have I reached? Etc. Sadhus and Grahasthas, everybody feels because of the Vedanta they have studied, they should have reached somewhere. Real Vedanta questions that idea of reaching. You don't have to reach anywhere. Be happy here and now and drop your ideas. And rest of it, whatever has to happen, will happen. So Adi Shankara completes his commentary here. Tiraskritya apurna swarupatam. See, that is just like that anyatva avabhasam tiraskritya. Purnam adaya, appreciate, understand your completeness and drop this notion of your being incomplete, your being not okay, your being lagging behind and under things. Drop it. Apurna swarupatam tiraskritya. Avidya kritam nama rupa upadi samparkajam etaya brahma vidyaya tiraskritya. Drop it all. Then purnameva kevalam avashishyate. This is about a new self-perception, the way you can see yourself. Self-perception. You have been seeing yourself, you have been perceiving yourself as a hapless individual, struggling, panting. But then now you will see, I am full. Tata cha uktam tasmat tat sarvam abhavat. The reference again is to an earlier, that first chapter, 4th mantra, 4th Brahmana, 10th mantra quoted before. Lastly, yaha sarvopanishad arthaha. Artha, meaning, the meaning of all the Upanishads is this Brahma. Yaha sarvopanishad arthaha is one side of the sentence. Brahma is the predicate, is Brahman. Sayeshaha anena mantrena anudyate. See, udyate is a passive voice of vadati. That meaning is said at many places. Anuvadati is anuvada, saying that in yet another way. Its passive voice is anudyate. Esha mantraha tadeva satyam anuvadati. Anena mantrena sa upanishadartaha sa sarvopanishadartaha anudyate. Sarvasu upanishatsu yaha artaha purvam uktaha asit sa artaha eva atra punarapi uktaha. Uttara sambandhartam, and it connects to future also. So this mantra is a bridge. It restates what was said before and it paves the way for saying a lot of wonderful things in future too. Now the last mantra. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Peace Peace Peace. Om Namaha Paramarashibhyaha.